In the 19th century, European countries began expanding and taking control of new territories. To this process we call imperialism. One of these countries was Great Britain. There were many factors promoting Great Britain's imperialism. The Industrial Revolution gave European nations the ability to colonize in Africa. Africa was an ideal location because of its raw materials and new markets. Racism is another source that sparked imperialism. Racism is the belief that one race is superior to other races. Missionaries wanted to convert their people to Christianity, but to do so they believed they needed to control them. Africa was divided, which made them extremely vulnerable and easy to seize. Great Britain also imperialized Africa because of the economic benefits, including resources, labor, and new markets. Africa's resources were left largely untouched by natives, so there were large supplies of easily accessible resources. Gold and diamonds were and still the two most valuable resources on the planet, and they were abundant in Africa.
India became valuable to Great Britain because they expanded their market and trade by constructing a railroad network to transport their goods. This railroad is the world's first largest railroad and was a British major achievement. This railroad enabled India to develop a modern economy and connect the regions. Most of these goods were agricultural products like tea, cotton, coffee, and in the case of opium, which was shipped to China and exchanged white tea. By the 1850s, British controlled the majority part of India subcontinent, and rebellion started because many people believed that British were trying to convert them into Christians, and also because of the racism British showed toward them. By the 80s, many Indians began demanding modernization, and two nationalist groups were formed: the Indian National Congress in 1885 and the Muslim League in 1906. First, they concerned about Indian interests, and then, by the early 19th, they called themselves a self-government. And by the 1905, they concerned about the partition of Bengal because British separated a part of Muslims and a part of Hindus.
The coast possessed some honest traders and mission stations, but the climate was deadly for white men, and few of them adventured into the interior region. During the 19th century, British made alliance with the Fanti, who were the dominant coastal tribes. Meanwhile, in the interior, Ashanti tribe was becoming more powerful and threatened to displace the Fanti and take control over the coastal trade. The first war occurred when the Shantis burned Fanti's villages and made several damage in British protected areas. Since this moment, British attacked Shanti's territory to punish them. Finally, in the Battle of 1896, resulted with the declaration of Ashanti territory as British territory. In 1885, gold was discovered in Boers territory. They did allow tax miners, but didn't allow outlanders participate in the government because many of them were British, and this would be an excuse to try to annex the area. In 1899, the Second Boer War began and lasted until 1902. By this time, British defeated Boers and forced them to submit to British government. 10 years later, in 1910, South African nation was finally formed.
Imperialism made the poverty increase. Imperialism drained India's wealth. It destroyed India economically and politically. India became dependent due to imperialism. It destroyed India's handicraft and small-scale industries. While destroying India economically and politically, imperialism also had some good effects on India. With the spread of imperialism, foreign powers took an interest in India and thus introduced new means of transport and communication. Modern technology and education were also introduced. Learning from the past can help us today because knowing what happened, we can understand, for example, why some areas of Africa now speak English or French. Also because we can analyze the relationship between two countries, and also we can know what wrong things a country made and try to solve them.